No. Okay. This is Jonah Tejada, and he's going to tell his story about how he met Makana, for long, what we call her Kahna, and they met, he's going to tell you the story. So I just thought it would be really fun for them to hear their story because I have never heard their full story, and I thought it would be amazing to hear it because I feel like I remember when I was single and the first thing when I actually met people is I would want to hear like a couple. I would be like, I want to hear their story of how they met, like, and I want every detail. I want to hear her side, his side, how they met, where they met, how they started dating, how, where did it lead up to, what were their thoughts when he asked her on a date, these kinds of things. And so I kind of mentioned it to Jonah, and he was excited about it. So here we are. So I'm just going to hand it over to him. He's going to take it away, and yeah, let's go.
How do I start?
I guess I would say, like, I don't know. I guess the day you met Kahna, or kind of, is there like a thought process you had? Like, I know a lot of people will say, like, I wasn't looking for anyone when I met them. And some people are like, no, I totally was. So, like, I don't know, like, did you have a background of, like, what you were thinking when you met her?
No,
or just start when you met her? I mean, it's kind of a relaxed conversation.
I came to Keystone in 2018 for the first time for a month-long training. And that was my whole mission to coming. Mm-hmm. And when I got here, I met Kahna and the rest of staff. However, after the first month long in 2018, mm-hmm. it was pretty chill because we all became friends, and by the end of the month, and I really enjoyed it. It was a fantastic time, but also a huge blessing, and gave me a lot of mission and vision that I didn't have before coming here. And then what happened next? After that month long, getting close to everyone here, I was invited to come back for the whole summer, and for the summer internship. So I came back as an intern, flew here for the month long, flew back for a couple weeks, then came back for the summer. Then during the whole summer, was able to work with everyone and get a lot closer with everyone, and that was awesome. And then Kahna and I became good friends, but her and I did detect chemistry, and she did too. Mm-hmm. And yeah, and so at one point during the summer, we paused and said, hey, we should talk about this, Mm-hmm. If there is a lot of chemistry, well, are we going to pursue it, and are we dating to marry? Is that going to be the mission? And
the mission.
Yeah, and so that was the plan essentially. However, let's see, when the summer ended, I had to wait a couple of weeks until I could come back for the following month long. Okay. And then when I came back for the following month long, that's when her and I continued the conversation of pursuing things. But you see, I mean, it would be long distance, and that would be mm-hmm. kind of hard. But
she was staying here? Or?
Yeah, she was already living here.
Okay.
But I mean, during the summer, I was already exploring the idea of coming here. And during that October training, we talked about it again, and that's when I made the first move. I asked her if she wanted to date me, mm-hmm. and she obviously said yes. That's how I got this ring on my finger.
But dating, not marriage, right?
Yes,
Okay,
dating.
okay.
And I asked her to date, but a lot of the things when we talked, like in the beginning, a lot of the things we first talked about was, why we're dating, are we gonna marry, how long are we dating, what are some things in our character we're working on while we're dating.
Can you share some of the things, like, what were your thoughts of, like, when, like, how long you wanted to date? Like, you said that was one of them.
My thoughts were 1 to 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
What were her thoughts?
Her thoughts were the sooner the better.
Okay, like.
But as time went by, she realized, definitely we should take our time, and during this time while we're dating, getting to know each other a lot deeper, on a deeper level, we're also working on our own character. So that was helpful for her to understand the importance of that. So by the 3rd year, I had already gotten the ring and proposed to her in the 3rd year of dating, and we were both super proud of, like, the progress we made. So that was a huge blessing. And then after I bought the ring, that's it. I knew it was gonna become a sealed deal. That year, that is. However, proposed to her in 2022, I believe.
Last year.
No, 2021.
Okay.
Okay, that's when I proposed, and we were engaged for the rest of that year, but had the wedding that November the same year. And we had it out of state. We had it where she's from, in Oklahoma, in Tulsa. And that was a lot of fun. Let's see. Oh yeah, you were gonna ask something?
I was gonna ask something. Did you have the conversation where you were like, what are all the things, like, this isn't, I feel like a lot of people have all these conversations of, like, asking all the things about, like, the future. Like, this isn't so romantic, I feel like, but, like, the logical thing is, like,
oh yeah, for sure,
how many kids, or did you know how many kids you might want?
She actually found a book here in the ministry center that's called, like, 100 questions to ask before you get married.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love that.
And
did you go through
we both went through it.
Really?
Yeah, we both went through it. And there were a lot of things. You had to eat the meat, leave the bone with a couple of things. But there were a lot of important things that were brought up in the book that you wouldn't expect. Like, hey, how are you going to discipline your children?
Yes.
How
that's
many
a
children?
So huge one.
All that stuff. So that stuff came up in the book. And then looking back also, some of those things were addressed before we even found that book, which was awesome. I mean, we both knew we wanted to end up being missionaries for the rest of our lives, wherever, right? And
that's huge.
Yeah, we were on the same page. Before I even considered dating her, I had to make sure we were on the same page.
Yeah.
If not, that was going to be a waste of everyone's time. So and I was extremely adamant about that, and then she also understood that. And not only that, but while we were dating, we had mentors to go to. We had premarital counselors that we could go to, and that was important and crucial to our growth. And while we were engaged, that took our counseling to a level up. And now our counseling as a married couple, another level upgrade from that too. And all of that has been super helpful, and I recommend everyone to do it 100%. And but those questions came up before that, especially with our mentors and coaches, and so that was helpful. And let's see, it was never uncomfortable bringing up questions like that. It was just natural. Like, we both felt like, yeah, we should definitely talk about this.
Yeah.
If anything, when she found that book, we were both excited to read it.
Mm-hmm.
I think we
Amen.
still have it. But
when you were like friends, where was the point when you like knew, like, I'm interested in like pursuing this girl? Was it like right away, or was it like a year into it, or like halfway through the summer?
It was just shy of a year into it, just a shy of a year, because we didn't. It was on our radar, and we talked about in that summer. But then we were like, well, let's continue as friends first, and then when I come back for the next month long after that summer internship, then we'll go from there. And that's where that break, when I went back home before moving here again, that was super helpful. And
like, what was the thought process? Like, where you were just trying to figure out?
I was trying to figure out if I was asking the Lord for direction and the Holy Spirit to guide me the whole way, because I didn't want to make an emotional decision. Yeah. I don't want to say I felt, quote unquote, I felt in my heart X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
No, I wanted confirmation. She got confirmation. I got my confirmation. We both got together and talked about it, and then moved forward from there. But then I had ultimately had to make that decision to move here indefinitely that winter of 2018, or rather, just the beginning of 2019, in like January or February. That's when I moved back here. So I took that winter after that month long in October to fly back home and tell my family, hey, I met someone, but that's besides the point. But God's also calling me to his mission. So I have to make the move for myself and pursue that first. But then I also told them about Kahna, and they were all ecstatic. They were all happy more than anything.
And can you share, like you don't have to share, but do you know like the confirmations that you got? Like, I feel like a lot of people I meet will be like, how do you know? Like, yes, you meet so many people and you have, you connect with a lot of people, but like you said, you don't want to make a decision that can affect the rest of your life. You want to know that the Lord is in it. So like, if you want, you don't have to.
Yeah, no,
like,
definitely
how
I can.
you got confirmation from the Lord.
Well, I didn't get what I wanted as quote unquote confirmation. I what happened was I honestly got it in the form of the Lord allowed me to experience the weight of the decision of spending the rest of my life with her. And it was like one yoke being removed, a yoke of a single person being removed, and then the yoke of a married person being put on. And for a short while, I was feeling that weight of responsibility, of concern, of love and grace and mercy, all these things that the Lord allowed me to experience. And ultimately, I felt that, I knew that God was telling me that it is a difficult decision. It is your decision. And then I can't rely on signs from the sky to fall down and, tell me this is where, if you're making this decision, you're walking through it knowing that I'm walking with you. And however, Kahna's confirmation, she was getting like dreams answered and visions answered and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool to see on her side, but mine looked nothing like that.
Yeah.
It was
That's
more
cool.
like I don't know, it was like having a heart to heart with the Lord in a way, but it didn't look like anyone else's. Honestly, people get dreams or whatever, or they hear his voice saying you're going to marry them.
Yeah.
I heard, I know people that have gone through that. I'm like, that's really cool. I want that. But that's not what I got, and I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah.
Because that decision I made was important, and I had to be serious about it and walk through it knowing that he will walk with me no matter what.
I think that's really important too, like that you felt the weight and that you were like the Lord was like telling you like the gravity of this situation, and like you had time to think about how important this decision is, and you were like still like, yes, like I still want to do this and I'm excited about it, you know. And I think that's the Lord, and that's so huge, you know.
Yeah.
It really is.
And not to humor things up, but I was just thinking to myself, this is my version of the story. I'm hoping I can convince her to come on for maybe a part 2 and tell her side
That
of
would
the
be
story.
awesome.
So
we'll see.
Yeah, I'm gonna do my best in case I miss anything important. But
and her perspective will probably be completely different. Than yours.
But I love
obviously.
hearing her perspective. Other than that, though, I mean, it's 95% of the same thing. We both had talked about it, we confronted it, but we moved forward with knowing that first things first, we have the same mission and vision for the rest of our lives. Okay, and we weren't going to move forward if that was different.
And that's huge. It's so huge.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us, Jonah, and just talking about your love story. It was so awesome to hear it. And thank you for listening to Jonah and Kahna's love story. Hopefully there'll be a part 2. We'll see. And please subscribe and leave a review, and we'll see you next time.